Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin. You know, I am not one to get out in front of a story. I usually wait, but when the Facebook eBay partnership thing came out a few days back and I started to do a little research on it, and then I started to watch, I knew there'd be videos almost immediately. I started to watch them, and in my opinion, not that my opinion is better than anybody else's, but in my opinion, a lot of those folks, not only did a lot of them put out some information that I think was just completely wrong, and a few of those folks got part of it right. A lot of folks later on came on and gave a much more succinct perspective on what is actually going on. But I'm going to do three things today and hopefully add a big layer to this that I think a lot of people are just missing here in this eBay Facebook partnership story. Let's go take a look. You're going to have to forgive me here because I'm going to do the teacher thing. I'm going to give you a brief overview. I know a lot of you already know what the story is, so I'm not going to spend very much time on that. Just a little bit at the very beginning for the folks that have no idea what I'm talking about here. We'll just give a little synopsis of the story, but then I want to talk about three big things. The first one's been covered pretty well by some folks. It's how does it affect you? There are some misconceptions, in my opinion, on this story, and just, I don't know. I don't want to be insulting to anybody, but there are a few takes I heard early on that just blew my mind. I'm like, do you really think that companies like eBay and Facebook do things for free or out of goodwill for folks? Not that, look, that's not being critical of big companies. Big companies are out there to make money. But the takes on some folks' videos and some things I've read in Facebook groups just make no sense to me whatsoever. But a lot of it is right. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you about one. Well, here's one right here. John did a video, Flippin' Ain't Easy, that I thought was the most succinct about how it's really going to affect most eBay sellers. And he gave conjecture where he wasn't sure, and he said that's what it was. And I totally agree with most of what he said. So we're going to kind of look at that area at the beginning. And then I'm going to look into, like, there's multiple layers to stuff that people don't quite grasp. I want to look at something that's outside of reselling for just a second and talk about, because the big story was, eBay made, this much more money. Their valuation went up $3 billion or whatever it was. And I think that we need to look into that for just a second and read between the lines. But the third part is the most important part for me, which is not the little micro sense of, okay, how is this going to affect me? Is this good for eBay? Is this good for me? Is this good for the small-time reseller? Is this going to affect fees? Is this whatever? That part of it, I totally get. That's everybody's first thought, I would think, if you're an eBay seller like me. But the bigger picture, something I've been talking about for well over a year at this point, specifically, and even been doing things in my videos to kind of gradually bring people along into this new world of reselling. I think this confirms it in many ways, and I'm going to give you some examples. So the third part of this video, that's the part that I'm most concerned about, I'm most interested in, and I've heard nobody talk about it. So hang around past the first few parts, even if you've heard the story, until we get to that point. I think it'll help some of you out, and it'll relieve some of you, and it'll stress some of you out as well. So a little bit for everybody. Plus I have like 7, 8, 9 things I'm going to ship, but I'm going to do it at the end of the video today. So for the sake of time here, I'm not going to go through what you may have seen on other folks, different channels and different reports on this. And I'm not going to read through everything eBay says. I'm not going to read through all the stories. I might take little bits and pieces. I'm going to give you a big summary of it and then kind of look at some of the misconceptions right off the bat. Not necessarily from the creators that are talking about it, or the news outlets that are talking about it, but from viewers who are trying to interpret it. So basically, eBay and Facebook come out with an announcement, hey, we're going to create a partnership, and I don't know, maybe that led a lot of people astray here. I mean, I even saw some people saying, look, they're going to merge together, which is absolutely ridiculous. That just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit either's model, in my opinion. But that's really just some folks that are totally misguided on this. They're basically saying, hey, eBay is now going to start advertising eBay products in Facebook Marketplace, which led to the next misconception, which I don't want to dig into too much. I would just say that a lot of commenters on different videos, on different Facebook pages for resellers have made comments like, I hate Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Look, all it is an advertisement. It's a link to get people to eBay. So there's another misconception there. It's not like you're actually selling the stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So I don't want to go into that because it's just kind of ridiculous. So this news, of course, set off a ton of speculation that I think a lot, like I said, was misguided from the get-go. But looking at the stock market, and that became a story outside of reselling in and of itself. The eBay stock jumped 9%, a massive jump. And we're talking about in less than an hour. I'd probably say less than a half an hour. And that's the second part of this I want to talk about in a minute. But basically what's going on here is eBay and Facebook are testing. Now keep this in mind. They are testing a partnership. So there's been nothing really that's restricted, as far as I know, eBay from placing off-site ads onto Facebook. Right? Let's face it, let's face it, Facebook makes its money. They make money in many different ways, but one of the ways they make it is through advertising. And this is one way. You've probably been on Facebook and clicked on something before and it takes you to another site. This is essentially what they're doing. Now, Facebook charges for that. There's been nothing stopping in the past that I'm aware of eBay doing that kind of thing. You already know that those things show up on Google Shopping and Google Search and all that. What I suspect, and this is conjecture here, what I suspect is eBay has held off doing something like that because of the high cost of it. My guess is they're trying to test this out to figure out where the partnership can make eBay money and make Facebook money. That's my guess. So let's face it, the basic way, the most obvious way eBay makes money is when they provide an audience to you and that audience makes a purchase from you and you give them the fees. Now there's different layers to that and there's promoted listings and all those kind of things, but that's eBay's basic model. So the immediate reactions were everything from, this is the greatest day in eBay history because now they're going to bring more and more buyers to this platform and we're all going to make a bunch of money. That's the one side of the story. The other side of this scenario is the skeptic saying this is just another way for eBay to use their promoted listings, offsite ads or whatever it is that they plan on doing to put these things over there and to charge you even if you don't make the sale. Or if you do make the sale, but you're paying an astronomical amount in fees, and then it just raises the prices. So you've got these two different perspectives here. I just would caution people right off the bat, and I'm going to talk about how this may affect you as a reseller, and then get into the big picture, how this may affect the entire world of reselling, and give it some comparison to some things that have already occurred. In my opinion, eBay is behind in this new method of reselling, and this is a big step in the right direction. Now, that's my opinion. Now, what road they go down, whether it's that far right perspective or far left perspective, that's not a political statement. It's just because I was pointing that way when I was talking about one side of the story and that way when I was talking about the other. The skeptic versus the person who thinks this is all going to be amazing. Let me say this as far as how it affects you at the very beginning here. So I would say that if you do nothing whatsoever, very little will change for you. I don't think this is like earth-shattering stuff for the mom and pop reseller. If you're a full-time reseller and you're looking for ways to increase your volume, this may be something that is going to be good for you in the long run. I don't see any negative effects to this necessarily, at least in the short run. I just don't see it. This beta testing process, in my opinion, this is conjecture, is just a way for eBay and Facebook to start running the process in order to figure out the price points, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm going to get to I don't want to get ahead of myself with the last bit of this story, but I'll give this little piece in there. For this to work for eBay, it has got to do one of two things. It's probably got to do both things. Increase their market share, because one thing we miss, and this is the second point I want to talk about, is the valuation of eBay stock is also a pressure coming down from stockholders on the powers that be over at eBay. It's not just how much money is coming in, but how much market share as well. I've talked about this before. However, let's face it, if a company becomes less profitable and is getting a higher market share, that mitigates its value a little bit. You want to see both of those things going up in order to be a success or to see a trajectory where people want to see it. So my guess is, and this is a guess, so eBay folks that are listening out there, I don't know, and I'm not saying I know, but my guess is that even eBay doesn't know, nor Facebook knows at this point, if this is going to be something that is going to affect everybody's listings in a AI generated or maybe algorithm generated fashion to put the right items in front of the right people at no cost to the eBay seller, or if this is going to turn into a place where the eBay seller has to do different things in order to get their eyeballs and in order to get their product in front of the eyeballs over on Facebook. And make no mistake about it, Facebook is a behemoth in social media, among other things. And that's what I'm going to get into at the end of this video. But I want to look at one other piece to this that I just don't think people look at. That's eBay's stock price. Now, if you look at it historically, you can see well, how do I say this? 2021, late 2021, I believe. I pay attention to this stuff. I don't own any eBay stock currently. I used to. But from late 2021, for a 2-year period, it's been about as bad as it can get in a market that's been going up fairly steadily. In an inflationary time period, I get that. And which is actually more reason why it should go up. But there's increased competition. We've talked about them before, and there's a market share issue here. There's profitability. There's all kinds of different things. So that is something I think that we're missing here. eBay's move isn't always, and it's not always, and I know we tend to think this because we see the rising fees here and there and we do it. It's not always about the absolute bottom line. They've also got to look at market share. And I think, in my opinion, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will, the live sharing part of it and the other marketplaces, the rise of TikTok selling as far as kind of experiential selling, and all those things are tied into this. And I want to talk about that in a bigger picture here in just a second, but make no mistake about it, this thing went up 9%. Stocks don't go up 9% in minutes unless it's a big story. And unless it's going to have some, and of course a big story like that, it's going to affect us eBay resellers in some way. I just would caution people, we don't know how it's going to affect us yet and which one of us it's going to affect. I heard a lot of stories, and I think they're right for the most part. You know, looking into, you know, your eligibility, your items may start to show up over there in this beta testing if these things are in place. I'll let you watch. I'll point you to John's video for that. He reads through the thing that came from eBay itself. And, you know, there's conjecture like, hey, you know, I think he mentioned something about having more pictures in there and quality listings. That's a very vague statement. You know, what do they, if it's a quality listing, if it's promoted, that's a totally different story than having a quality listing. I don't promote my items. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Because in reality, I do promote my items. I just don't promote them on eBay. I have social media dedicated to promoting my items. I do it, I mean, let's face it, I have 3 YouTube channels. I'll shout them out. Commonwealth Picker, this one, Commonwealth Flipper, and I have Garage Sale Nation, which is totally different. But I also have other platforms. I'm on Facebook and TikTok, Instagram, and I do limited promotion and stuff on there. And this is going to tie big time into where I think things are going and why eBay did this. Always ask yourself when you see something like this, why would they do that? And I think a lot of people did, but they're missing the biggest piece of this equation. And don't make, you know, I think a lot of folks out there would hope that this would be something that eBay would do that would increase their sales, which means increase their revenue without charging a promotion fee to the seller to get their item over there. I hope so too. I have my doubts, but I hope so. I do know other marketplaces are doing exactly this in different ways, and that's what we're going to get into in just a second. But just to kind of clear this part up before we move on, this will probably, my guess is, that they'll beta test each way. In other words, taking, and this is a guess, this is conjecture, so eBay folks don't get mad at me if I'm off base on this, but my guess is they'll test each method. Whether it's, you know, pay for click method, whether it's if you're just promoting an item, because obviously if you promote an item, they've got money coming in. If it sells over there on Facebook, whatever, they got to pay them. If they're making a percentage of what you're paying eBay to get that item over there, it's a net plus for them, plus they're bringing more people over, which is one other thing I think that we're missing. If you're bringing people over from a massive social media platform, once they're there, they won't necessarily always go back through the regular channels. If they have a good experience, you've brought a new buyer permanently to eBay. That is the biggest net plus to me, regardless of how they end up doing this. If, you know, the worst case scenario for me is the pay by click thing, and those are the only people who get over there. If that's the only way they can do it and be profitable, then that's the way they'll do it. That's my guess. If it's through the regular promotion process, they'll do that. If it's a combination of all three, I think they'll do those as well. But time will tell on those. I do think it is in a beta process for a reason right now. So I don't think there's any justice being done here to just say, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing, but I do know that they have to make a play like this. In my opinion, they have to, in order to see growth in market share. They don't have to make the play. They could go on being the eBay that they've always been and make money, but not seeing the massive growth and with the pressure of stock prices and things like that. I think this is a play they need to make. And I'm going to get into right now what I think the biggest part of this that we're not seeing. And I'm going to have to go back into things I've said in the past for just a second. So hopefully I'll bring those back and you'll remember me talking about them. All right, so there is an algorithmic equation part of this. There's an AI part of this. There's an experiential buying part of this, which I've talked about. The biggest part of it is the social media part of it, right? They're tapping into a growing marketplace inside of social media. As I've talked about some of them before, TikTok, Amazon really made this play too in a different way. But Amazon is now in the media business with Prime and TV and all that stuff, and that's making a difference. What I talked about just a few months ago, I thought was going to be farther out than it is, but it's actually here already. I'm going to use two examples because I can't go through all of them. But one of them is going to be YouTube, which you're obviously watching right now. And some of you, if you watch all my channels, Picker channel, Flipper channel, you've seen me do things that I've never done before, like putting things into videos that are made available for people to buy them right then. Some of them are out of my control if you opt into a system or something. I am continually and purposefully taking things out of my videos because you already watch commercials on these things and whatever, and occasionally you get complaints. Facebook folks complain all the time. They're like, there are too many ads in this thing. You know, YouTube folks, a lot of you have the YouTube subscription thing, so you don't see the ads. But increasingly, on my YouTube channels, they're increasingly pressuring folks like me to allow these affiliate links into their videos themselves. And when I allowed it on Picker to just do an experiment with it, where I let them put the products in, I've already seen them, and maybe you have too if you watch my Commonwealth Picker channel, I've already seen them go in, and whatever I'm looking at or talking about at a garage sale, those items are showing up as possibilities for you to purchase those things. Like, I literally will pick up an item, so they're clearly using technology to look at that item and then offer it to the buyer. It's not being done on eBay, however. Walmart is the biggest player in this, but other, you know, because Walmart's an emerging marketplace, which I don't talk about much, but it's something we need to keep an eye on. And this is for used collectibles and things like that. They're expanding their marketplace. And when a big player like Walmart is in, I can imagine the folks over at eBay think, this is interesting. I've encouraged eBay to somehow be a part of this YouTube thing, because I would love to be at a garage sale and pick up a He-Man thing or look at a t-shirt, and for an eBay listing to come up on that video if somebody wants to buy it. Not my eBay listing, although that would be nice, but your eBay listing. That would be huge. But this stuff isn't free. This stuff comes with a commission to the creator and a commission to Google. And so there's two factors in that: YouTube, Google. And then there's got to be a profit margin for Walmart and for the seller. So we're adding layers to this, adding cost to it, but it is increasing because the experiential buyer is proving to be such a untapped marketplace, let's say that. And I think that that has been seen through online selling places, which is one of the reasons I am heavily involved in District and in Dibdit.com and shopcommons.net and other marketplaces at this point that I'm excited about. Whatnot, obviously, is the other one. So if you're eBay and you're seeing this and you're seeing market share being taken away, or, not that you're necessarily losing sales. eBay's not like going down in sales. It's just not rising, in my opinion, as fast as they want to rise. They want to tap into this through essentially affiliate links is essentially what you want to do. And that's what they're doing on YouTube and Google. This is a little bit different being done with Facebook, but Facebook is a massive entity. I'm over on Facebook and social media as well. And I can tell you right now, some of the ideas about Facebook, that's just another old audience that eBay's tapping into. It's not. My numbers, my demographics, if you will, are actually younger on Facebook than they are on YouTube. And they're way more diverse. They're all around the world. I have so many people who watch me from the Philippines, for instance. And East Asia, of course, that's not East Asia, but East Asia is a huge marketplace for this type of stuff. So this is not something to be ignored. This is something to be embraced with caution, in my opinion. And this is a big play for eBay. This is not a minor thing. And it's really looking into the future. This is, I don't want to get into hawkingmydibdit.com here and shopcommons.net, but this is why I got involved over there, because it's doing something that is a little bit different that I think is very effective. Places like Whatnot have used social media creators across, not just reselling, hairy tornado types, but used different people in different niches to grow a big online experiential, that's the word I like to use, live selling platform. But there's a middleman in here. There's a middleman that's taking a large chunk of this. District, on the other hand, is using a different model. And they're using a model where they're going directly to the creator and allowing a partnership in order to build, for lack of a better term, a community around a particular niche. It is much more palatable to me than what Whatnot does, which is why I did that. And I've said this before, I did it at my own expense, essentially. I could have made more money doing it a different way, but I like this way better. It fits me better, and I think it supports the reselling community better. Time will tell if I'm right, but either way, I feel a lot better about it. I mentioned earlier my Garage Sale Nation channel, which, for instance, this is giving me a way to test this stuff out. And if you've seen me on Facebook, I do those live auctions over on Dibdit or Shop Commons, and I multicast those out. So in some senses, it is skipping the middleman of, say, Facebook in order for them to get their cut. And it's going right through the creator. And other folks have started to do this. I know Resell to Ride has done this, and they're multicasting their stuff out. Obviously, the Whatnot folks do this as well on different places. I choose not to do it on this channel because this channel is about eBay reselling, and I want to keep it that way because I love it. That's why I decided to do it all on the Garage Sale Nation channel and recruit, is that a good word? Audiences of buyers as opposed to audiences of resellers, because resellers selling to resellers is, it's got its problems. Let's just say that, because we're cheap, right? We're trying to sell it for high dollar on eBay, so we don't want to pay high dollar. You get the point. So I've chosen to do that. I've chosen to use my Facebook to do that as well, as opposed to my Commonwealth Flipper channel or my Commonwealth Picker channel. But that audience is full of folks who aren't necessarily resellers as well. But most people who watch this are, because I want to tap into audiences of buyers in order to support sellers. It's so far been amazing because of the tools that District has as community, and it's doing it successfully with far fewer people on the platform. I can only imagine if we can grow it farther and bypass some of these steps and bypass some of these fees. It's why I took Shop Commons fees and put them at 8%. It's about as low as we could go over there and make it worthwhile for resellers and people who are buying in quantity. I want to mention a few more things here, like buying the rumor and selling the news. That big giant jump for eBay has been negated by 1/3, so it's down to about 6% at time of filming, an increased valuation of eBay and the stock price. So this is a Betty Boop bobblehead. This was cool. This is one of the best pieces I got in a Betty Boop buyout down in Florida, which will be on the Picker channel soon. This one's pretty cool. A little hula girl. That sold for $34.95 plus shipping. Now, if you don't think what I'm saying is true, I'm seeing it in real time on the District app. You've seen this, you know, a lot of people hear Whatnot and they hear Dibdit or whatever, and they'll turn that stuff off immediately, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. I've said this at the beginning of the video. eBay is making a good play out there. But then there are other ways that people like me think that can get... Well, I'll give you an example. Here's one. There's Craigslist Hunter. You've heard me talk about Pete many times. I like Pete a lot. It's the first YouTube channel I started watching. In some ways, he inspired me to do what I'm doing, even though he does it quite a bit different. He's got a marketplace over there, and he is really ramping up selling his merchandise on that marketplace. Now, Dibdit is structured a little different, where I sell and Dave sells and Carrie sells over there, the Trash to Cash podcast guys. But we have focused on getting other people over there, building an audience where other people can sell as well. Not that he's not doing that, but he's definitely not doing it in the lives. But what he is doing is in his shop with his own social media, taking items and auctioning them off over there and getting good money for them because he's grown his own audience. Close to eBay money, maybe more in some cases, and he's paying far less fees and is doing his own promotion. Now, eBay has, you know, obviously everybody out there can't create a YouTube channel and Facebook and TikTok and whatever. Some people do, and they're successful at it, and some people do, and they're not successful at it. And most people just simply don't want to do it, and that's what I'm talking about here. That's why I think this is a big, big play. So the story was massive. Stock price goes up, and then you start to get into the details, and it comes down a little bit. I'm telling you right now that, in my opinion, this was a play that they had to make, and this is a play that probably will end up working if Facebook and eBay can come to a point where it becomes financially viable for them, for both of them. And if it does, it probably will be a big benefit for eBay sellers. And yes, even for the ones that don't promote, even for the ones that don't have 24 pictures per listings and their items aren't perfect, it'll have a marginal effect on those folks as well. That's my belief. I could be proven wrong here, and there'll be a lot of comments down below who are telling me I'm wrong. $10.46 plus shipping for this Coca-Cola Polar Bear. Coca-Cola stuff doesn't sell that well, let's face it, y'all. This was out there for a while, and I thought it was cool because it had the Christmas colors, and it has that in there. I'm like, it's worth picking up for $1. So I did, and it did not sell. 30% off it did sell, though. $10.46 plus shipping. You know what? I should give away stuff today. I'm going to do 3 things here just because you've had to endure me preaching more than usual. Sold a lot. It's another one at 30% off here. It is just a simple lot of PlayStation Madden stuff, I think. Well, FIFA Soccer. There's Madden and Madden. That one's sold on 30% off for $21.69 for that lot, plus shipping. Here's some irony right here before I give away some stuff. I promise I'll do it after this segment right here. My phone has been buzzing like crazy of stuff selling over there on Dibdit.com. Now, most of it is live selling. There's a lot of people who hear me talk about, I'll go sell over there. Most of it is live selling. I'll be very upfront with you and honest. You know, we might get 1, 2, 3, 4 static sales in a day, but we're getting hundreds of live selling sales over there. I have not been able to get over there and sell a lot. It's a promo for January 21st. I'm going to sell over there then. And I'm going to sell a Nintendo Switch brand new in the box for $1 free shipping. So go check it out. But the irony here is this stuff is happening right now as we speak. That marketplace with just a little over 7,000 people is selling like crazy, which is amazing. And I'm very proud of that. But it's doing it in what I would call a revolutionary way. This is something that we've never seen. Look at how much Google ads have been a big part of reselling for a long, long time. People searching through Google and then finding an eBay listing and then going over there and buy it. It happens all the time. As a matter of fact, that was one of the big criticisms when District and I decided to go this way, and some folks decided to go this way. That was one of the big ones, you know, does that stuff show up in Google, you know, Google Shopping or whatever? And my answer was no, it doesn't. And it's not intended to. And I don't know, District may do that stuff in the future, but why put all of your eggs into one basket when the world is really changing in front of our eyes? I think about it like newspaper ad space, right? I still get well, my dad gets it, but he shows me the yard sales that are around. It's not like that stuff is gone. It's still effective in certain areas, but it's just not the world we live in anymore. It transferred over, and I'm saying right now that that world we transferred over to is now becoming a smaller part of the equation. Social media is absolutely taking over. You've seen it in the political world, the economic world. You're seeing it in the merchandising world, the selling world, and eBay sees it as well, right? So if Google, that's the way eBay has advertised a lot of their stuff for many, many years. And they're not going to get away from it. You're not going to stop seeing that stuff over there. But what you are seeing is them looking into the future saying, boy, we got to connect with what, if it's not YouTube, because it's not, you can't find any of these things. Let me try an experiment. All right, here's the experiment. And then I see the stuff I'm going to give away. So let's put this, see if I can look up a similar jewelry scale. I talk about selling jewelry all the time. See if we can put this in this YouTube video right here. And I've made hundreds of dollars over the last few months on people, stuff that I didn't even know was in there because I wasn't controlling what was going in and out. I haven't been paying attention to it. And this one right here, we'll do a little jewelry scale. And I guarantee I'll put a Walmart one in here. There's other platforms on there. But hey, if eBay's not going to collaborate with YouTube over here for this kind of selling, don't think about it as reselling folks like me doing it. Think about other creators that are creating completely different content, like Dave's Kitchen, or Cooking with Dave, right? He's a reseller, but he has that other channel, which is growing immensely. Congratulations to Dave. It's awesome. All that hard work you've been putting in is, I'm saying nice things about Dave lately. I shouldn't, but... But think about it, you know, if he's able to put things in his videos, which he does, that he's using, imagine if that was eBay stuff. And imagine you guys were getting the sales, but we don't have that option. So maybe this is just the first entree into eBay taking a dip into that pool, which I think is a great, great signal for all of us resellers who sell on eBay. All right, here we go. Let's do the giveaway. Let's give away some My Go-To tape, a 4-pack of My Go-To tape. By the way, put that in this video. Just put mygo2tape.com. In this video, you'll be entered to win a 4-pack next time. The winner this time is, I wrote it down over here, Carolyn Bavero. You won the 4-pack tape this time. Y'all go check it out if you need tape, mygo2tape.com. It's American Bubble Boy. Same thing, but if you use it on the tape, use the link I have down below in the description. Or if you just go to mygo2tape.com, put in code Commonwealth, you can get 5% off your order. I love the 3-inch tape. It's my favorite, but hey, you can get free 2-inch tape. And this is, Carolyn, if you just send me an email, commonwealthpicker@gmail.com, I will send you the link and the code, and you can get your free tape, free shipping. Let's do another one for the 80stees.com. The giveaway winner is Frog Butt Picker, or Pickers, I can't remember. But you know who you are. Tell me the timestamp that this is in when you send me the email if your email doesn't match that name, and we'll figure it out, and we'll get you linked up with 80stees.com. You can use code Commonwealth over there. You get like 30% off or something on a t-shirt. So thank you to them, and you'll get the t-shirt of your choice in your size over there. Let's give away one more since we're hawking stuff here. My Reseller Genie. Had a lot of folks sign up for this lately, and I appreciate that, and I've got a lot of good feedback. Yes, they do go backwards and can help you out and pull all those records and all that stuff. MyResellerGenie.com, and you can get a free bag right here. If you put I Dream of Genie in the comments, I'll announce it 2 videos from now. There's a link to My Reseller Genie in the comments as well, or the, well, maybe they're in the comments, I doubt it, but they're in the video description. But if you just go there, you can use code Commonwealth and get, I think, 15% off. This is an awesome sale. I've been waiting for this one because it's been taking, whoop, I don't know what was in there. They're in bubble wrap though, so oh, it was baseballs. This is an old Rawlings football helmet. Took a long time to find the right buyer for this one. Did it go out on discount? I think I maybe made an offer. $105 for that one, plus shipping. I'm going to show you a picture of this Anchor Hawking measuring cup, 2-quart. I don't know if they call it a cup or not, but it's over $15 plus shipping, but it's out in the other shed, and I don't want to go out there. It's freezing. I did sell, this went for less than I thought. I put it on auction. I often do this with different rock lots. Where's this one at? Here it is. This is the one I wanted. It was just too big to go over there. And it had some good titles right there. Def Leppard and Bad Company. And it had some Robert Plant that aren't so great. I was hoping for like 30 bucks for this one on auction. I didn't get it. I got 21, but that's okay. We're still making money. $21 plus shipping. Well, looks like I have to go out here anyways, because the next one's still out here too. All right, at least the heat's on out here. I won't freeze while I'm out here. I bought a bunch of painted ponies. They're not easy to ship, however. This one was a good one though. I think it sold for 30 bucks. I think I paid $5 a piece. This one sold for $29.95 plus shipping. And here's just a little sale. This one went to a viewer, so thank you for that. And I went to Tom, and this is a suction toy Bugs Bunny. This is Sylvester right here. A little vintage, new old stock. That's a pretty cool item. It sold on 30% off, however, which we've been focusing on lately, just being aggressive, getting some of the much older inventory out of here. Tom, and he says, just buying to give Carrie and Dave more ammo. So if you watch the Trash Cash podcast, or if you're over on Dibbed It, you know, they tease me for the viewer sales and all that stuff. So I appreciate that, Tom, and thanks for watching. $8.37 plus shipping. Hope you enjoy it. All right, I sold another hat. We've been on a hat streak lately. This is a pretty cool Dale Earnhardt hat. It's been listed for a while, though, and it sold on Bonanza. So thank you to Bonanza. $29.65 for that one, plus shipping. All right, everybody, I did a lot of talking today, a lot of things to think about. I may be misguided in some of this, but I think I'm right on the overall trend. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for stopping by. We appreciate you very much, and I can't wait to see you next time.